You know, maybe if Coach Prime didn't have MTV raps in the locker room before the game, at halftime, after the game, maybe they'd be in control of this game instead of getting beat like a drum. I mean, it's flat out embarrassing. He's running the MTV, got Fab Five Freddy, whatever the is Flavor Flav.
This is the type of reaction that has become so normalized in sports today that it happens at all levels and in all competitions, cheering on the shortcomings and downfalls of black athletes and coaches.
This clown talks a good game. He's got MTV raps in the locker room. He ain't no coach. That's not a football program. That's a MTV house party, MTV raps. It's an embarrassment, it's an abomination, and it's a liability. Don't send your kids there. If you send your kid to Deion Sanders, he's going to come out wearing a hunk of gold chain. He ain't getting a job. He ain't even getting a diploma. He's going to get himself a criminal record hanging out with Deion Sanders and his Fab Five Freddy, MTV rap. Go. Dance.
Deion Sanders, no stranger to being unfairly attacked and criticized, just for being who he is. Not only by random racists online like this loser, but also by his fellow college football head coaches, Colorado State's Jay Norvell.
And I sat down with ESPN today, and I don't care if they hear it in Boulder. I told them I took my hat off and I took my glasses off, and I said, when I talk to grown-ups, I take my hat and my glasses off. That's what my mother taught me. So,
whose disrespected and vile diss at Sanders' style backfired both on and off the field.
He says that's what his mother taught him. To say that's what your mother taught you is to say that you feel like Deion's mother didn't teach him correctly. And so now we're venturing into how men are parented. Right, so that's what we do as college coaches. That's the example that we're setting for the young men in our locker rooms. This now starts to venture into culture. This now starts to venture into ethnicity and upbringing. You know, this is a guy from Madison, Wisconsin. This isn't a man that grew up in Florida. Nobody's showing up to see them because of Colorado State. And the same man that wears his glasses and that wears his hats when he talks to the media also wears those glasses and wears that same hat when he's talking to his players. When you're in the locker room, it's not supposed to be about how your mother raised you. It's supposed to be about how we all come together and make this thing better.
Sanders also obviously took exception to Norvell's comments.
We don't talk about nobody. All we do is go out here, work our butts off, and do our job on Saturday. But when they give us ammunition, they done messed around and made it what? It was just going to be a good game. They done messed around and made it personal. It was going to be a great test, a battle of Colorado, but they done messed around and made it personal.
While Prime's Buffs narrowly avoided a shock upset by squeaking out a close win in double OT against Norvell's Colorado State team, Sanders got the last laugh off the field as well, as Norvell's comments also helped Sanders get paid through his glasses collaboration with Blenders, moving tens of thousands of units and reportedly accounting for over $1 million worth of pre-orders once the partnership with the company was announced. Now, with all of this and Colorado's recent 28-16 defeat against UCLA in mind, Coach Prime is, for once, deserving of some valid criticism for how he reacted to his offense having one of their worst games of the season.
Coach, you mentioned the coaching aspect of it as well.
Yes, sir.
Specifically with the offensive line, I mean, what has to improve in that aspect besides from
The line has to improve. It ain't no aspect. The line has to improve. It's a struggle to run the ball. And we got to figure that out, because now you're one-dimensional, and it's easy to stop a team when they're one-dimensional, and that's who we are at this point in time. And when we're getting negative yards on first down, that's a tremendous loss, because now you know you're going to throw the ball on second down, and they're calling their defenses pertaining to that loss.
I just asked that in terms of the big picture, trying to keep Shador upright, healthy, and overall.
The big picture, you go get new linemen. That's the picture, and I'm going to paint it perfectly.
While Sanders isn't wrong in pointing out how his son Shador took a beating after getting sacked 7 times and knocked down 13, it is completely out of line for him to publicly throw his entire offensive line under the bus and send out a vague threat to replace them when he and the rest of his staff know that there's so much more that goes into a terrible offensive performance than just O-line play. Part of being a head coach is handling the responsibility for the entire program and holding yourself accountable when things go wrong. And we're not saying Prime doesn't have the right to criticize his own team, but the most fundamental part of coaching is turning criticism into something positive for players to learn, grow, and become better from. And publicly airing out your own players like this can erode the trust built in that locker room. between players and coaches and forever change the dynamic in the locker room. But Prime wasn't the only college football coach to blame their players for a tough loss this past weekend.
You said this isn't a great situation your team's going through. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, when you lose like you lost today, you had a tough one last week. Why is it? I'll go back. I mean, you as a football coach, you lose a lot of good players a year ago. You think as a coach you're gonna replace them. We obviously haven't. And again, it starts with me. I didn't do a good enough job coaching today. And, put it on me. We got to make plays. So it just comes down to making plays and doing a better job coaching.
Pitt head coach Pat Narduzzi immediately changed his tune and walked back his "we lost a lot of good players last year, we thought we replaced them and obviously haven't" line after his team's embarrassing 58-7 blowout loss to the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, once again betraying the trust of the locker room and looking to shift the blame onto the players instead of his own failure as a coach. Once again showing that there's so much to coaching than just wins and losses, especially at the collegiate level.